Hey guys, we're here with Robert Field, the owner of Kayak Fish TV, to run a few questions by him. We appreciate you being here, Robert.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I know you're pretty new to the sport. How did you get started in kayak fishing?
Yeah, so I've kind of got a different story than I think most of the people that are doing videos or kind of making a name for themselves in our sport. I've not been fishing since I was in diapers. I've not been fishing since I was a kid. I really didn't grow up in the outdoors. I guess about 3 years ago, I had just broken up with my girlfriend and found all this free time, and so kind of needed something to do. I actually got on YouTube and searched for hobbies, searched for the word hobbies, and I stumbled upon 6, 7, 8 pages later this video of Drew Gregory going down the Devil's River, and I watched this video, and as soon as it got done, I was like, I want to do that. And so shortly after that, I went out, bought a kayak, bought a GoPro. I had just started fishing, so I had a couple little cheap rods, and just kind of went for it. And it was pretty cool that a year later I got to go down the Devil's River and I won Video of the Year for that video. So that was really cool to kind of see it all happen that fast, I guess.
What brought you to Mariner Sails?
Yeah, so like I said, I was really new to the sport. I've only been doing it for about 3 years, so I still consider myself a rookie. And when I was looking for a reseller to go to, I wanted to find somewhere that had good customer service and that had a staff that really knew what they were talking about, that could help me, because I really had no clue what I was doing. So after some online searches and talking on the forums with people in the area, Mariner Sails, the name just kept coming up with how great the staff was. So stumbled in here one day and been coming back ever since.
What do you think is so appealing about kayak fishing? Like, what draws people in?
Yeah, I think in our society we emphasize faster, more efficient, less work, less effort into getting what we want, and I think that kind of cheapens life, or kind of cheapens accomplishments. Everything, everyone needs a bigger motor. They want to get there faster. They don't want to have to work for it. And I think with kayak fishing, this kind of uphill both ways mentality, where we're having to paddle to this spot, against the wind, against the current. I think that when you put all these things together and finally hook up with a fish and catch a fish, I feel like it's just that much more rewarding, because you had to work for it. It didn't really come easy ever. So yeah, I think that's kind of one of the bigger draws, is this sort of challenge and kind of the reward that comes from it.
What would you say has been your most memorable moment so far?
The most memorable moment kayak fishing would definitely be the sailfish that I caught back in July down in South Florida. It was one of those deals where, this trip was this huge undertaking. It was expensive. I was driving 1,300 miles one way to get there. It was a week-long trip. I planned shot lists and all this stuff. Had all this plan, this preparation. Of course, nothing went according to plan. But number one on my list was this sailfish, and I had just been talking about it and thinking about it for months. And to go out there and on the second day hook into one and land it, it was really just a special moment. And that was the top fish on my list. And so scratching that one off was really important to me. It was fun.
Yeah, you actually knocked out a few bucket list fish on that trip, right?
Yeah, mahi was number 2 on the list, and I got one of those too on the first day. So really feel like I got spoiled. I'm kind of starting to earn a reputation for beginner's luck. I'm new to all this, and my favorite thing is go after new species, and I've been real fortunate to hook into some cool fish. So I chalk it up to luck, but who knows.
What's your favorite species of fish to go for?
Yeah, so I'm kind of one of those guys. I like to switch it up. I don't like fishing for the same thing all the time. I know a lot of guys that they're just strictly bass fishermen, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for those guys. It's a hard road to sow, because those fish are so tricky to catch. But my favorite thing is going after a new species. I like trying new styles of fishing. I like fishing new waters, and I like going after new species, and that kind of learning process. Again, it makes it more challenging, but I think it makes it more rewarding when you finally get one. But if I had to pick, my favorite small game fish would definitely be redfish. Just something about catching these fish in skinny water and their fight. They're just little bulldogs. And my favorite big game fish that I've caught was definitely the sailfish. So if I had to pick one or two, they'd be them.
What would you say has been your biggest moment out on the water?
My biggest moment on the water. It would probably have to be when I caught my first shark. Probably seen the video. It's unfortunately that video that seems like everyone's seen, but yeah, just 5 months after I got my first kayak, no clue what I was doing. I'd never really been in the ocean, and I decided, for whatever reason, to go chase sharks by myself offshore. If you've seen the video, I got my first shark, about a 6-foot black tip. I was super excited, released it, and then while I was fighting the shark, the winds picked up, the waves picked up. I actually didn't know it, but there was actually a tropical storm out in the middle of the Gulf, and so I hadn't even checked the weather. I mean, that tells you kind of how experienced I was at this point. So it, really the season picked up, and as I was looking for my anchor, I kind of lost focus for a second and flipped. And this isn't really conveyed in the video, but I'm upside down for 3 minutes because I had never practiced, riding my kayak over. I'd never practiced that, which I tell people all the time is super important now. So it took me 3 minutes to get this kayak righted over, and the whole time, I mean, all my bait had dumped out, so I'm floating in the sharkiest waters I know of in Texas, like in a pool of mullet blood and chunks. And so that was the first time I really was scared for my safety, in a kayak. And yeah, so I kind of just swallowed my pride and produced that video. It was kind of embarrassing that I got in over my head, literally. So, but I thought it was important to produce that out there and help some people learn the easy way instead of learning the hard way like I did. And since I produced that video, I've literally had hundreds of comments, emails from people saying, thank you for producing this, really kind of opened my eyes to how serious, fishing offshore and how powerful the ocean is. So I like to think.
What are you using right now for your filming setup?
Yeah, so I primarily use GoPros, not for really any particular reason. I mean, I kind of just, GoPro is the biggest name, everyone knows who they are, so I started off with them. I've got 5 GoPros. Typically I'll have one running at all times when I have a line in the water to try to get the hook set shot. And then once I hook up, I use these various camera booms and mounts to kind of click them all on, which often means you lose the fish. It's just kind of part of it. And I tell people that all the time, there's really no way around it. You're gonna lose fish. Fishing gets in the way of filming. Filming gets in the way of the fishing. But for me, the film work is really where my passion lies. So, I enjoy it and it's worth it. I've also got a DSLR that I'll use for B-roll. I'll take it on the kayak if I'm fishing with other people to get some shots of them. And that's pretty much it. I actually, I pre-ordered the Lily drone. You seen that?
Yeah.
The one that flies itself. So that's supposed to come here in a couple months. So I'm excited for that. I think that, everyone asks me why I don't have a drone. Well, all my stuff is self-shot, and so I can't fly the drone and film myself. It doesn't work that way. So having a drone that'll follow me around and I can set the distance, I think that's really going to add a whole new dynamic to my videos. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of guys kind of bringing the drones into the game just because you have so much going on while you're fishing out there.
Yeah, it's definitely, the drone thing is blowing up. I think with kayaks especially, it's cool because it really puts things in perspective that you're in this like tiny little vessel in this big world, this big body of water. And so I think it's a cool dynamic, and just I'm excited to start incorporating that in some of my work.
What does the future hold for Yak Fish TV?
Yeah, so I'm actually doing this full time now, kayak fishing full time. So I'm focusing on my film work, newfound focus on film work. I'm going to be doing videos about every week, 2 weeks this year, whereas in the past it's been every month or 2 months. So a lot more content coming out. I'm working events and doing promotional work around the country, all the big events. I plan on being there. I'm going to kind of report live for Kayak Fish magazine and get content for our video. So yeah, we just launched our website. It's www.yakfish.tv. We are going to be featuring films from our core team, which is me, Rex Del Rey, and Jonathan Levitt. And then we're also bringing on guest contributors. So we've got guys that are putting out quality video work in our sport. We've got a guy in Austin, 2 guys down in Florida, got a guy up in Nashville. So we're kind of trying to bring in people that are putting out quality content on a regular basis and kind of consolidate all that into one hub. So instead of having to go on YouTube and browse through all these videos that aren't always the best, you can kind of come to one spot and go through some quality work. Also, we're going to be doing a lot of DIY rigging videos, a lot of instructional stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my full-time gig now. So we're going to be pushing it hard this year. So I'm excited.
All right, guys, it's actually all the time we have for today, but we're going to sit down with Robert later this year. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. We really appreciate it, Robert. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I had a good time.
And be sure to check out Robert's videos on YouTube and also yakfish.tv. Special experience. Nice.